Thank you for tonight.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
We'll be joined shortly by Coach Greg Farrell from the Northern Hawks. Can you get Greg to stand closer to you? Yep. Stand closer together. Make sure they're
Come here. I've got there's no leeway. Three. Hello, I am joined now by Greg Farrell, the men's Supa-Liga Northern Hawks coach. Greg, you've played the West Coast Cobras in 3 grand finals and you've lost them as well in the Australian Championships. What do you think it'll take for the Northern Hawks to beat this strong West Coast Cobras side today?
I think across the course of several seasons, we've worked out different solutions to lots of different problems, and I think the players are just going to have to work out on the court how to solve any problem that they're faced with. Whether we're up, we're down, the Cobras have got such good players that they're never going to be out of the game until the final whistle's gone. They'll just have to keep coming up with solutions.
And I've just heard a sneaky rumour that you're planning on playing 5th man from the first whistle. Is there any truth to the rumour?
There may be some truth to the rumour that I told somebody I was thinking about doing that. Whether or not we're thinking about doing it or not, who knows? It wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility that we do it. It's a grand final and we want to win.
Thank you for joining us and good luck for your match.
Thank you very much.
Have you got the stats? Who's doing stats? Am I good to share the link?
Good evening and welcome to the Men's Supa-Liga Grand Final. And do we have a good match for you tonight? The West Coast Cobras are sporting a green kit against the Northern Hawks in the white. And this is the fourth or fifth, I believe, Grand Final clash between these two sides. Quickly read out the team lists for you as the West Coast Cobras get their team photo. For the West Coast Cobras, we have number 1, Tom Robles, number 9, Luke Ross, number 4, Jake Pizzuto, number 11, Lukman Syed, number 12, Gregor Zerkis, number 8, Marco Florenka, number 22, Lachlan Ryan. And for the Northern Hawks tonight, we have number 16, Betim Ziba, number 6, Avi Kotkis, number 3, Nishan Alagoda, number 5, Ches Houston, number 7, Daniel Formato, number 3, Callum Bredemeyer, number 2, Michael DeFilippis, number 10, Devin Rindell, number 26, Rickwan Ropley, number 22, Tom Ellis, and number 56, Nathan Govius.
Our referees this evening, Jonathan Silas and Tyner Campos, as seen on screen. And you'll also have 2 commentators this evening, myself, Annie Leyland, and also co-commentating is Jade Paul. You can see on the stream we have both captains, Luke Ross and Ches Houston, currently having a conversation with the referees about the match. Should be a very interesting game today. As mentioned in the interviews just before, the West Coast Cobras have had the most success this season. Out of the 2 hitouts during the league games, West Coast Cobras have come away with the win. In round 6, Cobras were victorious 4-0. And in round 12, much closer contest with Northern Hawks with a 4-3 result in favour of the Cobras. On those occasions, we had MVP for the games of Luke Ross and Omid, who has currently transferred over to the Phoenix Futsal WA. Key players to watch tonight for the West Coast Cobras, Luke Ross in that fixo position and captain for his team. And also Lachlan Ryan, who plays in a pivot role for the West Coast Cobras and this season has scored some absolutely phenomenal goals from himself. For Northern Hawks, we have captain Ches Houston, he's wearing number 5 today, and Devin Rindell, both 2 fantastic court players. As said in the interviews as well that have been posted online, both of the coaches think that the contest will come down to the performance of the goalkeepers. Goalkeeper Tom Robles for the West Coast Cobras and Dan Formato for the Northern Hawks. We have a look at the goal scorers for the season. Top goal scorer for the West Coast Cobras, Lachlan Ryan, sitting on 13 goals. Closely followed by Luke Ross on 10 for Northern Hawks. Devin Rindell takes the lead there with 11 goals. Michael DeFilippis after him with 5. Pass masters, so the most assists for the West Coast Cobras is Luke Ross with 8 assists to his name, followed by Vincent Longo on 7. For the Northern Hawks, Ches Houston sits on 10 assists, followed by Betim Ziba and Devin Rindell on 5. And that there is the whistle that has started the match.
And I've just realised that I've left some players off the West Coast Cobras team list in that starting lineup. There was also number 23, Vincent Longo, number 8, Marco Florenka, number 22, Lachlan Ryan, and number 91, Atley Jarja. Houston to Ropley. The West Coast Cobras are starting off pressing well. Rindell. Zeba's up top. Houston looks for Zeba. It's cut out by Ross, and Ross is brought down by Zeba. some physicality early in this match, and I'm expecting much more.
And a
of
yellow
it.
card. Batim Ziba getting the first yellow for the match. And it's Luke Ross who takes the kick for the West Coast Cobras. Get back into play. Cobras moving the ball well and rotating, actually in a more of a 4-0 shape than what we've previously seen them play. And it's Ross there looking for the run of Ryan.
Houston taking on Pizzuto. Rindell blocked out by Ross, and Ross pressing well, forces him back to Fumado. Plays long and down Fumado. An excellent chance created there for himself. Caught Tom Robles a little bit off guard there.
Certainly a wake up there for Tom Robles. He did so well to read the ball as it dropped and tap it out of play. Rindell with the fancy footwork on the far side there. Cries from the grandstand. Ryan now. Florenka doesn't get the touch he wants there. Good combination play between the two sides.
Hawks restart play deep in their own defensive half. Houston. Rindell looking to take on Ross. Cuts to the outside, but Ross gets the foot in, and it's 2v1. Ross and Ryan against Ropley. Fumado does well, getting a hand to that one.
Another shot taken there, wide of the target. Clock's been stopped there. Referee Campos has called for that one, and there's a bit of a check there of Fumado's eye. Unsure, I didn't see any hit on that one. Did you, Jade?
No, I wasn't paying close enough attention to that small passage of play there.
He seems to be all right, though, so... Right, I've just heard that the ball's hit him in the face there. Now the whistle's blown and play commences.
We've just seen the first substitution of the match. Bredemeyer on the court for Batim Ziba.
And there, I believe, was a two-touch with the goalkeeper. The mistakes are being made early in the game by the Northern Hawks here. It's referee Campos walks the wall out. Jonathan Silas on the line. It'll be an indirect free kick. Florenka and Ryan approach. It's Ryan with the shot and finish.
Indirect free kick, I think you said though, Annie.
Correct.
The bit of confusion here from the West Coast Cobras, but technical fouls like two touch and the ball not being on the line are indirect free kicks. Unfortunate Cobras getting their lines crossed there, because I think if they'd known that it was indirect, they probably could have done something with it.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of miscommunication between the players and the referee. But there was the clear signal with the hand up from both referees, meaning indirect free kick was what was given. Now Pizzuto plays the ball across for Ryan on the opposite flank, and it's Ross now. Takes on his defenders. Long passes from one side of the pitch to the other. Northern Hawks not able to stop those ones, but ball's gone out of play now for the Cobras.
The Hawks seem to be defending quite deep in their own half, which is unusual from the side. Normally they're a little bit more proactive defensively. Ross, shot to the back post, rebounds off Pizzuto.
Pizzuto finding himself in the right place there. Houston finds himself a lot of space in the middle of the court, and then great play of the ball through the channel.
was excellent vision by the Northern Hawks captain, seeing that run of Ellis going forwards. And Ellis now putting on the pressure for Aldroyd.
That press continues here. You can see Northern Hawks. And there has been another foul on Ross. Protests from the coach for Northern Hawks. That's 2 fouls for the Northern Hawks. It's this time going to be Luke Ross who lines up for the kick. He goes for goal, but he's very off target. Big cheers from the Northern Hawks bench.
Ellis finds Bredemeyer in the middle, and that's a great ball over the top. Excellent play by the Northern Hawks.
Did you see that movement there, Jade, in that 4-0 rotation? An execution of that great run there from Northern Hawks player Tom Ellis.
Yeah, he's had a bit of time off this season, but he definitely hasn't lost too much of it. He's still able to make those driving runs forward at the exact right moment.
He's quite a quick player in himself, but he understands the game very well. We've seen him out-maneuver players from great movement in previous seasons. Another
back post from Bredemeyer, just dribbling past Robles. Luckily for the West Coast Cobras, not on target. Longo and Syed on the court for the West Coast Cobras now too. Aldroyd, a loose pass there. Dummy from Houston. Ellis to Rindell. Bredemeyer. Ellis. Houston. And the West Coast Cobras not putting much pressure on the Northern Hawks in their defensive half. Excellent ball forwards by Rindell. Like Annie and myself mentioned earlier, Ellis is making those driving runs forward and is getting himself in really good positions to receive the ball there. So I dare say at some point tonight he's going to get his foot on one of those balls.
It's Pseudo that time looking for the run of Longo. Nishan Alagoda, number 11 here, stepping on the court. Quite a young player for his side. He's managed to keep that ball in here on the sideline. And it's Robles who clears that ball.
DeFilippis on the side kick. Finds Alagoda. Ellis makes his way out wide to be an option, and Ellis, it's a loose pass, giving possession away to the West Coast Cobras, who are looking to build up their attacking play in their own defensive half. Syed over to Longo, touch from Houston. Alagoda, a bit of pressure there. Done well to will himself the side ball. Excellent check run in the middle from Ellis. And again, Ellis, can he make it this time? He's gotten on the end of it, and Longo with the last minute slide, stopping him getting the ball to the top of the D for a shot from DeFilippis. Ellis with the shot. Alagoda against Pizzuto. Back to Houston. Might have to go back to Cardo. Yes, he leaves the ball for his hands. Oh, an excellent dummy by Ches Houston, and a dummy again. It's a good idea by Alagoda, the youngster. Just needed to hold the ball up for an extra second to give Houston some time to make that run forwards.
Yeah, I think a standout player for the Northern Hawks currently, Ches Houston, for me. His movement's been fantastic on the court. He's finding pockets of space to be able to receive and be able to turn and play those passes that we've seen. He has just been beaten there by Saeed, who then gets himself a shot off.
Long ball from Formato, and he's hit the roof. Be a West Coast Cobras side ball. Taken by Pizzuto. Oldroyd. Ross entering the court. And the free kick going the way of the Northern Hawks.
And it's Rindell who's taking the kick. Tries to play DePhilippus, but it's read well by Oldroyd. And West Coast Cobras gain possession quite quickly. Ross with the ball in over the top. Misread there from Oldroyd and Ross.
DePhilippus pressed by Ross. Longo. DePhilippus sees that one out. Oldroyd, Pizzuto. Dribbles middle, and he's looking for Ross. It's cut out by Rindell, and looks like he's going to try and take on Pizzuto. No, he leaves it for the shot from Ropley. Northern Hawks so far in this first half, creating some really good chances for themselves. Being quite creative on the ball, I would say.
Frustration's mounting here. It's Oldroyd who's getting himself a yellow card. I believe that's dissent after the foul was called. DePhilippus places the ball.
Rindell's ball cut out by Ross.
Another shot taken there. It'll be a goalkeeper's ball in Formato.
Formato plays short to Rindell, and Ozirkis on the court now, pressing high on Rindell there. DePhilippus, back to Rindell. Nice dummy. Alagoda being pressed by Ross. He's got help from Ropley though, and the Northern Hawks win themselves the side kick in.
It's Alagoda's pass, can't get through there, and Ross has fallen down, but Alagoda continues to run here. Good tackle there from Ozirkis. See the ball go out the West Coast Cobras, and Pizzuto plays it short for the keeper. Little 1-2, and play progresses. Interesting movement from the West Coast Cobras today. They haven't had that high pivot player as we've ordinarily seen. Might be a bit different once we see Lachlan Ryan enter the court. I believe he's the next substitution as he stands by the sub-zone. Formato now with a long throw for Zeba, headed away by Ross.
A little bit of panic there from Tom Robles. I think he's having flashbacks from that long shot from Daniel Formato early in this match. Making sure he doesn't get chipped. Ross plays into Rindell. Rindell with the shot, and Robles does well.
Absolutely phenomenal save there from Tom Robles. Point blank range. Gets a leg out to it.
Ross was in his line of sight as well, so he would have only had a split second to decide what to do once he could see that ball coming. Zeba's shot goes high.
Robles finds his target in Ryan, who turns but just can't keep the ball in under control there. Quick kick in taken, and it's a breakaway from Rindell. DePhilippus hits the side of the goal. But Tim Zeba puts it in, back heel now. DePhilippus, a second chance for himself. Northern Hawks looking very threatening. There has been a timeout called
by the West Coast Cobras. And I think it's a good idea. The Northern Hawks have been creating some really good chances in the last couple of minutes. And the Cobras definitely need to break up that momentum. As far as I can see from the stats so far in this first half, the Northern Hawks are ahead on passes 70 passes over the West Coast Cobras 53, and for possession, the Northern Hawks 55% over the West Coast Cobras 44%. And I think that definitely shows in the chances that are being created by the Northern Hawk side.
Press the I. Leave it, stop pressing it.
And teams now being called back onto the court. Play restarts through Robles, and he finds Ryan, who Annie Leyland had said would be up top playing in that pivot position. And as Annie mentioned before the beginning of this match, Lachlan Ryan has scored some absolute bangers throughout this season. He's a very threatening, attacking player, seemingly can score from anywhere in that attacking third.
Rindell with the back pass for Houston. And Zeba now. Shot right into Saeed. It'll be a sideline kick in. In battle there. Florenko v. Houston. And now it's a breakaway. Ryan continues the press. Famato, the long shot. Ball across from Polenko, a bit loose there. Saeed's done well to get it forward, and now it's Ross with the chip, but it's gone too high. Ross unhappy with that one.
Famato goes long again. He's looking for Zeba, and I dare say there was a foul there. Feel like Thomas Robles was grabbing Zeba from behind and jumped on his back there, but referees deeming no foul. Ross on the ball. Syed, ball across the face, almost finding the feet of Ryan. Ropley, and he's scuffed that pass. Puts his hand up, apologised to his teammate. Florenka down the line, cut out by Houston, and Houston's driving forwards now. There's a 3v2, finds Bredemeyer at the back post, and that's a great save from Robles. Already having to come into action multiple times in this first half, and that's definitely a late tackle by Zeba. Referees calling advantage. Bringing the ball back.
Fouls, yes? 2 fouls, Hannah? One there and one there. That was 2 fouls, Jeffrey? You got the 2 fouls? One here and one there. Yes, 2 fouls. So that brings the foul count there up to 4 fouls for the Northern Hawks.
Hawks, of course, will have to be a bit careful. There is only 2 minutes left in this first half, but we all know that anything can happen. And, of course, the 6th foul will be a 10-metre penalty for the West Coast Cobras. So the Hawks treading on thin ice here. Houston, ball cut out by Ross. Ryan finds Florenka, pressed by Houston. Houston pressing very high on this one. He has Alagoda helping. Touch out of play by Alagoda.
Yeah, so it's the last minute and a half here of stop clock for the first half. It's been even chances, in my opinion, on both sides, but it's been Tom Robles who's been forced into pull out a few fantastic saves. Be able to look at those statistics coming into the half. It'll be interesting to see the shot count. It's West Coast Cobras who are maintaining possession currently. Ryan, the far side, takes a shot. That's Famato with the save now.
Like I just mentioned, Lachlan Ryan, extremely dangerous in that last attacking third. You can't give him any time or space because he will get a shot off and it will be quite accurate. The corner ball taken by Florenka. Finds Ross, and that was probably a bit of a hard ball from Florenka for Ross. Famato hitting the roof again.
Famato is looking for a lot of long throws today for those runners that are escaping in that 4-0 movement. But twice now he's hit the roof. And one of those ones was actually straight to Batim Zeba, who's playing very high pivot. It was a great throw.
We've just entered the last minute of stop clock play. It's a Northern Hawks side ball deep in their defensive half. Houston plays Alagoda, finds Bredemeyer, dispossessed by Florenka. He's got a 1v1 here. Bredemeyer looking to take on Syed. Goes down the line, Florenka with the slide.
It's Callum Bredemeyer there with a killer left foot. It's certainly someone you'd want to stop pulling the trigger. Another foul called here. In a dangerous spot. It's Houston. Looks to take the kick. Not too much on that one. It was Bredemeyer. Send a ball across goal, but no one there. Cobras progress now. Flicked ball forward. Didn't find Ryan, but seen out of play by DeFilippis. And quick play there from the West Coast Cobras. Longo, Ryan. Let's see what can be created here. Final seconds. And we've seen it. Lukman Saeed scores the first goal for the West Coast Cobra in the Men's Superliga Grand Final. Just missed the very end of that one. There was such a good attempt beforehand. We'd recorded the goal. Final seconds here.
And that is the halftime whistle here. Teams changing benches. The West Coast Cobras go into the second half ahead 1-0. Despite the scoreline, I do think that the Northern Hawks have created the better of the chances so far in this first half. They just need a little bit of patience, and I think that they could bring this game back to 1-1. And as we look at the first half stats for you, you can see Northern Hawks ahead in attempted passes, 145 over the West Coast Cobras, 129. Passing percentage, 61% to the Hawks, 60% to the West Coast Cobras. And possession, Northern Hawks ahead 52% to 48% for the West Coast Cobras. And total shots, West Coast Cobras, 10 total shots with 9 total shots for the Northern Hawks. And I think these stats potentially are not quite correct because it says 2 shots on target for the Northern Hawks, and I've definitely seen Robles make at least 5 good saves.
Keep trying to talk, please. Don't worry about that. Try and talk.
Yeah. And the message coming from the Northern Hawks bench, Greg Farrell letting his team know just to keep going with what they're doing, and I completely agree with that message. I think the Northern Hawks have been creating some really good chances for themselves with Tom Ellis making those runs forward and players like Ches Houston and Devin Rindell playing the ball through for him. Northern Hawks retaking the court nice and early. We see Avi taking the court for his first minutes for the side.
Be interesting to see how the Hawks respond. Listened into a bit of the team talk from Greg Farrell, Northern Hawks coach. And it was he had absolute faith in his side. And he said he's been in this position before and they can get out of it again. Referees giving the thumbs up on this near side. As mentioned before, we have referees Jonathan Silas and Tyler Campos for this evening's match. A lovely turn there from Rindell and gets a shot off. A great save from Robles, getting a palm out to that one. It's Houston now, trying to look for the angle. Ross doing very well to block it down. Ball spills now to Philippus. Good pressure from Ross. We'll just quickly see that replay. Good chance from the Northern Hawks to start this half.
Robles coming out to the edge of his D, looking long for Longo. Ball goes over the head of Rindell and he cleans it up nice and quickly. Harvey pressed by Pizzuto, a little bit slow on the ball there. Rindell looks to take on Longo, gets past him. Longo touching that ball out of play, and I think it might go out for a corner ball. Taken by DePhilippus. Pass across the face, blocked by Luke Ross. Rindell, he gets his shot off, blocked by Aldroyd. Rindell with the slide, just possesses Longo, and Rindell's not happy about that tackle from Aldroyd.
It's getting fiery on the court now. Referee given a yellow card for Rindell, who's continuing to yell back at the referee. We'll see a replay of that one. At the very end, there was a bit of a barge. A quick kick taken by Houston. Read well by Pizzuto and West Coast Cobras. We've seen the ball out of play on the far side. To Philippus. Keeps the ball moving out to the left flank, and it's Houston who back rolls the ball into Ross and has the sideline kick in. Long ball over the top. Pizzuto's chested that away. It's Avi with a shot and then followed by Houston.
Of course, Annie conflating Ches and Houston together. His name is not Houston.
No, Houston.
Attacking play now for the West Coast Cobras. Pizzuto to Longo. Tries to play through the middle. It's cut out by Rindell. Aldroyd down the line, and Ross pressed by Avi. Gets the ball through the legs, and it's a slightly scary moment from goalkeeper Daniel Formato there. DePhilippus plays Rindell in the middle.
It's a bit different here for the Northern Hawks. Intensity has risen a bit higher here. We haven't seen as clinical movements from them. A little bit different shape with more of a 2-2 wide formation rather than the ordinary 4-0. There's now Ross on the ball for the West Coast Cobra. Chips the ball over the top, trying to find Pizzuto. It's read well by Ropley, and Northern Hawks gain possession with Houston Nice little fake with the ball, and it's now Ellis cuts back inside. Pseudo again reading the ball well and getting a few touches in, keeping it on the court, but not out of the hands of Ropley.
I think it's a West Coast Cobras side ball. Ross making a run forwards. Longo looking for him. It's cut out by Houston. Touch from Ellis. Oldroyd wins it back. And Pizzuto plays that one out of play. Ellis to Ropley. Pressed by Pizzuto. Houston looking to take on Ross. The West Coast Cobras have a side ball again. Pizzuto to Ross. Pizzuto again. Oldroyd. Down the line to Ross. Free kick's been given there. Ross over the kick. Florenka. High press from Alagoda here. Alagoda does well. He's come away with it. Gets around Oldroyd. Robles having to come out past the edge of his D to stop Alagoda getting the shot off there. The youngster did extremely well with the pressure on, Marco Florenka. Poor touch there from Houston. West Coast Cobras now have possession.
Florenka looking for the run of Pseudo, but just a bit too far out in front. Pseudo works hard to get back and defend against Houston, whose touch is too big and sees the ball out of play. Substitutions now coming on for the West Coast Cobras in both Ryan and Ozerkis. It's Ross who takes the kick in. Long ball for Ryan. The ball has hit him in the arm after the first bit of control there. Referee's seen that one. Be a kick there for Northern Hawks. West Coast Cobras continuing to press. Alagoda in the far corner there under pressure of big gun there, Luke Ross. He stays calm and composed. Ropley falling down at the last moment there. Good long throw from Famato. He's had a few of them tonight. It's Ryan with the shot. Great save from Famato.
The majority of the shots so far from the West Coast Cobras in this match have come from the foot of Lachlan Ryan.
Houston taking some time to get up after that one. Seems okay now on the ball.
Of course, Annie meant Devin Rendell there, not Ches Houston, who's currently on the bench for the West Coast Cobras, for the Northern Hawks. Ross with the back roll. Ozerkis puts that one wide. Famato. Dummy there from Ellis. Rendell looks for the run of Ellis. Good awareness by Alagoda.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there from Ellis in regards to who he was meant to be marking. You hear the calls from the bench. Not only the coach in Farrell, but the rest of the team members noticing that and giving the call out to make sure that the court was covered with the defensive mistake. Dummy there from Ellis.
Excellent dummy from Tom Ellis. Alagoda copping a bit of a push in the back there. The referees turning a blind eye. DeFilippis with the shot. It's cleared out of play by Ozirkis.
Now, Jade, we know that Northern Hawks tend to go to fifth man in situations like this, where they're down, 10 minutes to go. Do you think that Greg Farrell will be calling that of his side shortly?
Look, I think that during the first half, the Northern Hawks were creating some really good chances for themselves, which is why Greg Farrell hasn't started this half in fifth man. But so far in the second half, I do think that the Northern Hawks have been a little bit less clinical and they're trying to rush their attacking plays. And it's not paying off for them. So I dare say we will see a fifth man be pulled out any minute now from Coach Greg Farrell. Ryan headers that one over the bar.
So Dan Fumato in goals for the Northern Hawk is a very good court player as well. He's likely to be the candidate to be putting on that fly keeper shirt. Potential others in the team, Jade?
We know Devin Rindell, Ches Houston. I would say that there's at least 3 or 4 good candidates for the Northern Hawks who could easily fall into that fly keeper role. They're definitely not short of choice. Ryan to the back post. Long ball from Fumato, finds Rindell, looks to take on Ross, gets around him and runs into trouble with Syed. That is a late slide from Florenka. Rolling foul called by referee Jonathan Silas.
It's Robles who plays short now for captain Luke Ross, who rotates after his play. Here we have Ryan on the ball. Ball through again. Ryan finds himself in space. Good ball movement from the West Coast Cobras. Ball across now for Pizzuto. Going back and forth across the court, and you see the defensive line of the Northern Hawks dropping off. And it's Luke Ross who takes the shot. Exits the court now, and we see Olroyd enter for the West Coast Cobras. Game slowed down a bit here. West Coast Cobras just happy to get some passes together and maintain that possession. Not for long here with DeFilippis on the run. Takes the shot early though and off target.
The call from Coach Greg Farrell for the Northern Hawks is to press now. Ball over the top. Ryan can't bring it down. Fumato. Short to Ropley, and the prediction now coming true with Fumato making his way forwards for fifth man for the Northern Hawks. Ropley, step inside, and that's a wide shot, a bit of a waste. Timeout now called by the West Coast Cobras side.
Now we've seen the Northern Hawks play 2 different forms of fifth man, one being more successful than the other in recent past. Jade, Paul, do you want to tell us a bit about the way that they play fifth man? Being one of the women's players for the Northern Hawks, she tends to play the same way as the men's team.
Yeah, the Northern Hawks like to either fall into the 3-2 to start with, lull teams into defending in that diamond shape, and then they rotate around into a 4-1 so that the top player for the West Coast Cobras diamond is 2v1'd, and eventually will get drawn out to one player, and the Northern Hawks can then send that other player forwards and either get a shot off or find someone at the back post.
Can you show the Cobras now? Bring that out there.
And the West Coast Cobras, an extremely tight defensive side, but they're also extremely quick off the mark when they want to drive forwards, and it will be a worry in the back of the Northern Hawks' minds whenever they lose the ball in this fifth man play. I've definitely seen the West Coast Cobra side capitalise against fifth man on multiple occasions. Play will restart through Robles. And the Northern Hawks are going to have to press now. DeFilippis, Houston. Doesn't have any passing options. Does well against Syed. Houston, some excellent footwork there. Syed eventually just gave up, trying to get the ball off him. Famato manages to make his way forwards. The West Coast Cobras are going to have to drop off defensively. Cover those top players. Famato gets the ball high, gets his shot off, saved by Robles, and a late kick there from Florenka.
That one hasn't been seen either. But it's Ross who capitalises on that opportunity there and looks to get the ball back in play quickly and take the shot.
Famato plays long. Syed cuts the pass.
Famato progresses forward again to play fly keeper. They're looking to stay in that 3-2 shape. Famato running the show in that fixo space.
That was an excellent layoff by Betim Ziba and a great run by Houston, checking forwards and then checking back for that shot. Famato gets the shot off and somehow still makes his way back to get his head on that shot from Ross going the other way. Showing his excellent athletic ability there, Daniel Famato.
Absolutely. He's had a standout season this season, Dan Famato.
Some might say the best men's Supa-Liga keeper in the league.
Potentially, although if we have a quick talk about Tom Robles in the other goal, it was actually his heroics in the penalty shootout last week that got the West Coast Cobras into this position, making one of the penalty saves.
Famato long, finds ahead of Ziba, and he sent that one wide. Oh, and Ziba, he's stepped off his player when the press has been called. Miscommunication there from Ross and Florenka.
It's Houston now that's in that fixo space. They persist with the same style of fly keeper. DeFilippis to Houston. West Coast Cobras slide well, covering those channels out wide with Florenka stepping, and hopefully Saeed keeps that height on the court to keep Houston out of shooting range.
West Coast Cobras starting to drop a little bit deeper now, but Houston's not capitalizing on that space. Moving forwards. Dummy from Ropley. Ropley gets the shot, blocked by Ross. Hawks will have to build up play again. Moving the West Coast Cobras defense side to side. DeFilippis in the middle of the court, shot from Ziba, and a goal line save from Pizzuto. Oh, and no awareness from the Northern Hawks. Ball across the face from Ziba. Going out of play.
Mistake there with the kick in, sees a turnover early. And deep there in the deep in the defensive half of the West Coast Cobras. A bit of a loose touch. And with Ches Houston and
Devin Rindell on the court. I dare say this is when the Hawks will fall into that 4-1 fifth-man play, as they kind of have now, with Houston and Rindell both standing in that top position, side by side.
Absolutely. I can hear the call from Pseudo on the court to change the formation defensively there to become 2-2 as soon as that change happened. Block there from Nishan Alagoda, stopping the goalkeeper from distributing the ball there, earns himself a yellow card, and there'll be a free kick taken for the Cobras. Taken early. Saeed receives, does an amazing touch forward and gets the shot off. What a passage of play that one was there. Time ticks down now. We're into stop clock territory. 2 minutes to go. Florenka loses possession. Houston runs out of space. It's a sideline kick in. Florenka falls down, but possession gain there from Northern Hawks. Ball from
It's an excellent
Rindell.
ball by Rindell.
Yeah, trying to find Houston there in that gap in the middle of the court. Robles gives the ball away. The long throw. And they persist now with the fly keeper. Houston Alagoda into the corner with DeFilippis, who takes the shot. It's Ross who's in the way of that one. It'll see it out for a corner. It'll be up to the West Coast Cobras to be defensively sound now to see out the last minute, 15 seconds. Rindell finds a pass across to Philippus. Saeed there does well and gets the shot off. That one spills wide of the goal. It's a very tense match here. I can see Jade Poole beside me concentrating so hard she stopped commentating. Look, she's enjoying the match, I think.
I don't think it is any surprise to anybody listening or watching that I am a Northern Hawk and Annie is a West Coast Cobras. So
we've got a lot of passion in this game.
Annie's a little bit more excited about the end of this match than I am right now.
It's a sideline kick in on this side. DeFilippis takes. It's Houston and Rindell. Good pressure there from Saeed. Sorry, from Pseudo. Now Saeed who wins possession. And a shot blocked. Another one from Houston as well. Houston very unhappy with his side here defensively. Florenka finds Pseudo. Ball over the top from Ross. Has the touch from the Northern Hawks. We'll see a sideline kick in for the Cobras. Ross tries to flick the ball past Rindell. You can see that pressure mounting there. The Northern Hawks pressing high. Saeed with another excellent touch. Fumato finds Rindell. Ball across. Florenka. Fumato not giving up on his run here. DeFilippis isn't quick enough on that one. Ross has read it well. 18 seconds. Houston takes it. DeFilippis now. Finds the corner, but Rindell can't get the touch he wants on it. Robles throws long. Misses its target, gives the ball straight back to the Northern Hawks. Terrible decision there in this sort of a game. He really wants to be finding the feet of a West Coast Cobras player because he's now allowing the next 10 seconds for Northern Hawks to have the ball. And we'll see the throw. And the hit. And the save. Great work there from Robles. It's Pseudo now. Finds Florenka. Florenka pressed off the ball, and that is the full-time whistle. West Coast Cobras victorious tonight in a 1-0 result in the Men's Supa-Liga. Absolutely phenomenal game here. You can see them all putting their heart and soul into the match. Stay on the stream. We'll be having an interview with one of the West Coast Cobras players, and we'll also be showing the statistics for you momentarily.
Of course, the lone goal scorer for that match, Lukman Syed from the West Coast Cobras. And just putting the stats for the full time on the screen for you now. As you can see, Northern Hawks ahead in the passing stats with 335 attempted passes over 249 of the West Coast Cobras, 226 completed passes over 140 from the West Coast Cobras, and 67% possession over 57% possession from the West Coast Cobras. And possession, Northern Hawks ahead with 58% over the West Coast Cobras, 42%. Total shots, Northern Hawks ahead, 19 total shots over the West Coast Cobras, 16. And shots on target, Northern Hawks 7 and West Coast Cobras 7. We'll just watch the West Coast Cobras lift up the trophy.
Just wait. You can always go back further. Right, I'm joined here by Luke Ross and John Goodlich of the West Coast Cobras. Absolutely amazing match tonight, victorious in the men's Supa-Liga. Can I have your thoughts on the match, please, John?
Oh, it was a very good game. Hawks are a great side and they pushed us to the very end, but I thought our boys defended gallantly with a lot of heart and we held on despite them playing 10 or so minutes of fifth man, and they did have chances. Arguably a couple of calls went in our favour, but that's how it happens sometimes. We've got a bit unlucky the last few years, but everything sort of went our way tonight.
Congratulations on your win tonight as well, Luke. You had a really good game. Any standout players for you tonight?
Oh, I think Lukman Syed probably had his best game I've seen him play in a while. Obviously, we've been playing together for years, and yeah, I think he really stood out today. Scored a cracking goal, and yeah, it was all over the pitch, so I'd say Lukman.
Yeah, absolutely. So Northern Hawks had a few good players as well on the pitch. There was some threatening attacks. Tom Robles being called into action a few times. Northern Hawks, what do you think about their side tonight?
Look, I think they played well. They always give us a good game. I'd say Dan Fumato had a good game. Devon and Ches, they're a bit quiet, but I think that's credit to us. We shut them down, but look, they were a threat as they always are. But yeah, I think we probably counteract their attack. So look, they're all good players, but I think on the day we just got over the top of them.
Yeah, absolutely. A big congratulations to you both. Winning and lifting that trophy obviously means a lot. Can you bring us back to last season's grand final? And now, how are you feeling now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always better to be on the winning side. I mean, we've lost, 2, 3 in a row. And it's against the Hawks, so it's always a bit sweeter. But yeah, I'm really happy, and we'll be back to defend it again next season.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to seeing it. Thanks very much, Luke. Congratulations. And thank you, John. Thanks very much. Thanks for tuning in tonight to see our men's Superliga action here at Perth Modern. That's the end of our summer season, and we have the West Coast Cobras, team champions of the men's Superliga.